Well, welcome to Domain to Profit. I'm Drew Wash, and technical issues aside, I'm glad to be here to be talking about domains and to discuss domain names. So domain names have allowed me, just this kid from somehow, go from just some poor kid to a guy that discovered domain names and has spent well over $1 million buying domain names to avoid non.coms. Do they have purposes? Yes, there's a reason they exist, but I am not looking to do it. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix it up a little bit. Last week, and even a low quality shoot, I tried to look for those cheap domain names. We're going to kind of do the same thing this week. We're going to filter it down. We're only going to look at the domain names, those auctions ending in the next 3 days, and then we're going to restrict the price. We want to find the ones that are $20 or less. And it occurred to me, let me just open up. Hopefully this pulls it up. I just wanted to look real quick. Let me pull this camera up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set up two things of filters. I want to look to make sure we're not going to miss out on any high-priced domains, on any super quality domains. Outside of that, though, I want to go Easter egg hunting down to the bottom of the list. Let's go find those domains that we actually have a shot to grab that others maybe forgot about. That's what I want to spend my time doing. And last week, let me see here. Let me drag this into this browser window. There we go. So just a quick look at this top of the list, ordered by valuation, seeing if we see anything that we need to. News index, kind of fun. Detox Life, more of a brand. Cannabis investment. Okay, not seeing anything that I don't think we'll see if we go to the bottom of the list. And as you can see on these, most of them already well over $100 and have bids. Let's see what we can find as far as buried treasure. So I'm going to just close that tab out. Come on over here. We're going to run these filters going to the bottom of the list. We want to find what's on the bottom. So here we are. We are only looking for the cheap auctions. Yes, we are looking for less than $20, and we are still ordering by valuation. What do you think? Should we? Let's just keep it like this. So we're down to 32,000 or 1,000 domains. I'm going to order it by the number of registered, back into the domain names. What are the, my goodness, why can I do top level domains? So these are the .infos, .net, .orgs, and we're ordering by that as if we're ignoring the GoDaddy valuation over here. Let's try this for a little bit. I always come in here and I'm always so excited, and then when things don't go right, it really throws me for a loop. This does not look, these are not very good. So we're looking towards the bottom of it. Let me see. Yeah, Michael was saying he's having trouble with the feed. Darcy as well. It says that it's good now. Hopefully that is the case for everybody. If not, keep me posted. I don't know if there's anything I can do on my side to fix it, but hopefully YouTube catches up. These are such horrible domain names. I think we're going to have to order by GoDaddy evaluation, because these are such, these are crap. So you want to see what the crap domains look like? Evidently, we're seeing quite a bit of it. I mean, Inspiring Freedom. That's okay. That's interesting, but not what we're looking for as far as she-mail porn directory. There's Home Parental Services. Captain Cocktail. That could be a fun brand. And all these are under $20 currently. So with that in mind, let me just mention this. I had a comment on last week's broadcast where we tried to look for $20 domains or cheaper that we believe that we can buy and sell for $200. Like possibly that Captain Cocktail, that would possibly be a good one for that. Well, somebody commented like, well, these are auctions, so of course it's not as easy as just bidding $20 and winning. And that is 100% accurate. It's important to remember these are auctions, and we are playing a bit of a quantity game here. And if you are bidding $20 on domains that you find excellent, the ones that you're interested in, sometimes you may end up winning, other times you're not going to win. You just have to play the games. You just have to play the numbers. What I got from that comment is I got the feeling like they were a bit defeated, that they were letting the big guys win, the ones that deal with a lot of auctions. And yes, there are companies out there, they basically run APIs. They run all kinds of artificial intelligence and all kinds of stuff. That's what you're up against. But they miss some. And you can participate and win at $20. That's one of the things I tried to show last week. Let me show that now. Was my list of domain names that I've won over on GoDaddy in the last year. Give me 1 second to set this up to pull it in for us. Because unfortunately, I could just show you what I have to, anyhow. GoDaddy stuff's not notoriously easy to use. It's not, is what I said. Okay, so here's the screens. So these are the domain names that I won over on GoDaddy in the last year that are, as you can see, $28 and less. And you'll see the caliber of domain. These are not towing.com domain names. These are not great domain names. These are just good enough. These are cheap domains that in some cases, ignore towing.com or towing 911, that was almost a joke. Webencrypted.com, got that one for $10. Getyourlocation.com, $11. Not bad. I mean, it could be a brand. It sounds, it says exactly what it might be. Who knows what you might sell on that? Maybe a device that shows your location at all times. Who knows? But it sounds pretty good. It's worth an $11 registration. Go find a company that sells location devices and sell to them for $200. Could you pull that off? I think so. If that's what you wanted to spend your time doing, you can buy these things low and sell them high. Dealer near. But like, what a freaking great... I see this domain, I'm like, how did I get this for $11? And this was in October, so it's not been a year on this one. Like, everybody was sitting at home in October looking through domain extension or auctions, and they missed dealer near. I picked it up, $11. So will you get them all? Absolutely not. Can you still get great domains for $20 or less? Absolutely. I believe that dealer near could be turned around and sold for a couple $1,000 if you wanted to do that. I bought it for development. Complete Car Care Service, CompleteCarService.com. Again, ourconvention.com, guidetest.com, taxwebsites.com, convertprospects.com. Convertprospects.com? Convertprospects.com for $11. I mean, come on. Come on. Come on. Like $11. Let me appeal to your imagination for a moment. Can you take Convert Prospects and sell it to some marketing company that deals with copywriting, a copywriting company out there? Absolutely. That's what they do for a living, is convert prospects. They take a prospect, somebody that may be interested in their service, and they convert them to a paid order, a paid customer. StabilitySystems.com, planner pages, and so on. My point is, $20 auctions exist. You can get $20 or less domain names that are still of a reasonable quality, domains that you can buy and sell for $200. Are you going to miss out on 80%, 90% of them? Absolutely. There's competition for them. It's not like, you got to understand, others are trying to do this too. Like, you don't expect it to be easy. You just got to do the work. That's what we're doing. We're doing the work. I'm going to probably change our search criteria. Tag name, and not feeling it. If you see one on the list, then feel free to call it out. What about this one here? Rentdrones.com. I mean, why not? Like, that's absolutely, you can rentdrones.com. Let's check out SpyFu. Let's see if that even has any terms. Is there a chance that rentdrones.com gets picked up by Huge Domains or any one of these other companies that find it and show interest in it and bid it up to a couple $100? Absolutely. But possibly not. Possibly this could be the domain name, 290 searches. So not a ton, but certainly worth a look. Rent a drone, rent drone, rent to own drones. Like, something tells me this domain name just shot up to a few $100 at least, because it's worth a few $100. Why is it worth a few $100? Because somebody out there is likely going to find it worth a couple $1,000s. You have to know the drone market. You have to have an idea of who your buyer is going to be. Don't go chasing after every domain you think has potential. Trust me, I get tons of people that are that reach out to me thinking they have a winning domain that I would be interested in. Maybe rent drones like this one. If somebody contacted me and said, "Hey, I got rentdrones.com, would you be interested in it for a couple $100?" I would likely be a yes. I mean, a couple $100 for rentdrones.com, boom. Except for, of course, I just saw it now, so that's not going to fly. But you can do it. You can turn $20 into a couple $100 easily. Not easily. This is not a get-rich scheme, get-rich-quick scheme. That's not what we're out to do. We're out to have some fun, do our little Easter egg hunt, filter through all these domains, find opportunities, and then make some money on the backside. Craft my site. Interesting. Find a little web design company willing to pay a couple $100 for it. Do you have to work for it? Absolutely. You're going to have to do some legwork to sell that domain name. You can absolutely do it, though. Absolutely. Well, actually, speaking of selling domains, one of the things I don't talk about very often is the lucrative business of selling premium domain names. And I just thought, for the heck of it, for the sake of just showing you a little bit of what the top-notch domain names, why do domain names matter? Well, look at this. Let's go over to NameBio, NameBio.com. They record sales of domain names. So every time a GoDaddy auction closes and so on, that is in their database. So you can see all the past sales. Well, here are this is the top 100 domain sales of all time being the domain names that are recorded, not all domains. In fact, a significant number of domains that are sold for over $1 million are not recorded at all. They're all private sales to where they would not show on this list. Of the ones we know, though, look at this. Top one, 30 million bucks, voice.com. And you're like, yeah, you're not going to find that in expired auctions. That's true. You're not. You're not going to find any of these domains in the expired auctions. But, there's millions. These domains, people know domains matter. People know. I know domains matter. It's just a matter of time before you can convince a small business to buy craftmywebsite.com or any number of domain names that might impact their business. It's a matter of finding one that has authority, something that will add to their business. That's the key. If you can add to their business, at least I think that's a pretty good key. That's a pretty important piece. If you can actually improve their business, then that's a good start. Okay, let's see here. I got a couple comments. Glad that the stream is working better. That's very good. And let's see. Thanks. I'm developing my website this week. And thanks for the information. And that is what we are out to do on this show. Is I did not make millions by buying domains and selling them. I don't have any of the domains on that top 100 list. If I had one of the domains on that list, I would have been developing that domain name. So yeah, that's awesome. Hot fix. Get it going, because developing is the best way to monetize a domain name. If you find one that you're passionate about, that you're interested in, that there's an audience for, then absolutely develop a domain name. That is why this show started, because it's what we do. If you see all these domains behind me. Towing.com, boom. We use that one, and generates great money and helps thousands of towing companies, as well as tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that are stranded and needing a tow. So boom, just take the domain name and do exactly what what you expect to find on that domain. What do you expect to find on towing? Towing companies. Boom, done. What do you expect to find on the website Designerscom or any number of different domain names? They tell you what they expect to find. Now just go find those companies and charge a small fee to advertise on that company or on that website. Makes sense to me. So you feel free to let me know in the chat hotfix what domain you're doing, if you're willing to share it publicly, or at least let us know when it's done. It's always a fun time. We've had a few people develop domains partly because of the show, which I love to hear. It's what I'm here to do. Air fryer review. Is air fryer a trademark thing? It might be. I might want to avoid that one, but maybe not. Consumers compare. Red flag, middle S. Like avoid the middle S. Sometimes it's okay, but consumers compare. Avoid the middle S. That's one of those red flags. Flag on the play. Avoid the middle S. GoDaddy and many other places will kind of put that middle S in there as a suggestion. It kills a domain name. If you think the domain name has a flaw, it likely does. Avoid it. Statboard. Kind of fun. Let's check out Statboard. Statboard.com, 2 days left, because that's part of our search. We're looking for the auctions that are ending really soon. So, if we look for a domain name that's 7-8 days out, chances are that domain name just hasn't been discovered yet. But 2 days left, only 4 people have ever viewed this listing. So $12, statboard.com. What's another name for Statboard? I'd probably say a dashboard. But statboard.com, it could be a brandable, or it can just be your development project. If you pulled different stats together. Most stat companies out there have they have it to where you can just API. So API being application protocol interface. Basically, the data is visible to external websites, assuming you want to authenticate and stuff. So you can use something like statboard.com, have the user authenticate to their analytics, and then you can create a dashboard or something from them. Who knows? Maybe it's statboard.com is a service that helps people customize Google Data Studio accounts, something like that. Certainly something there. $20, 2 days left. $12 currently. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for. Okay, if you bought statboard.com, curious, how would you build it? What would you do with it? How much do you think you could sell it for? If you buy it for $20 and sell it for $200, let's say you put 2 hours into emailing and calling people. 2 hours, that's just a completely random number. Could you do it in 2 hours? It'd be $100 an hour plus, minus the time you found it. Better than Cure. Alex Parks. Sounds like an author. Unsanctified. 1999 is when that one was registered. That's a pretty old domain. That one's probably going to be one that, just because it's a dictionary word, even if it's a garbage kind of dictionary word, 1 day left, 1 hour left. Is that even a real word? Like, is that the... Let's check it out. Unsanctified.com, 810 searches. You can rank for that, pull in that 800 searches. I am guessing there's not too much happening with it. It's not holy. or sanctified. No, yeah, that's unsanctified. So there you go. You want to put something dirty or funky up on the internet? Unsanctified.com. Currently, prior to this show, or during the show, 0 visits, ends in a day and an hour, $12. Wait until 5 minutes, 5 minutes and 5 seconds, and then place your bid. You don't want to indicate. If you bid right now, it moves it up the list and others are going to see it. Keep your intention hidden, but on Unsanctified.com, absolutely worth some money. To somebody, some crazy knucklehead out there would love to have Unsanctified. Homecarservice.com. I'm digging it. Let's see here. Homecarservice.com, $12. I mean, I'm like, that's added. I'm adding that one to my watch list. Homecarservice.com. I've wanted this kind of service. I don't want to freaking take my car someplace for an oil change or some kind of routine maintenance. I want somebody to come to my home and service my car. Voila, homecarservice.com, $12. Yeah, that's within a day left. No visit. Like this, if I would not have mentioned this on the show, chances are no one would have even noticed this domain name. That's not true. Somebody would have noticed it. Some automated service out there would have found it. Let's go check SpyFu. Only 40 searches. Let's see if there's any related. Let's see this middle box when it shows up. Car battery replacement service at home, $1,200. Would you rather own car battery replacement service at home.com, which has 1,200 searches, or would you rather own homecarservice.com? It's a piece of cake. That's an easy decision. At home car, like all these other searches here could be put under this. Great domain name. There you go. And just so you know, I think I added that to my watch list. I'm going to be putting a bid in 5 minutes, 5 seconds, as late as possible. We don't want to draw attention to these cheap ones, especially if you're participating in the auctions at the top of the list, the ones that are going to be worth $1,000, or more dollars. It doesn't necessarily matter too much when you bid. You do want to wait as long as possible to put in your main proxy bid. Business discounts. What? I mean, come on. Come on now. Come on. The viewers that are here right now, businessdiscounts.com. I wish these domains showed up last week, because realistically, with all the tech issues and everything else, it was a little bit of a pain in the butt to find some good one. Businessdiscounts.com. Okay, well, what are you going to put on this one? How about discounts for businesses? It makes sense, right? $12 ends in one day. A couple people have viewed this one, so it's probably on some watch lists. It's going to be on my watch list as well. There you go, peeps. Look, go to the bottom. Too many people search the top of the list. And a lot of us miss these bottom of the list domains. I know there's some people out there right now that are going, okay, Drew, you're giving away all my domains. They've been watching these domains and they're wanting to get them, and now they're being revealed here on Domain to Profit. If I make you remember me next time I see you at like a NamesCon or something. If I help make you some money, hook a brother up. Buy me a drink. Coin rate. Amazing weather. Amazingweather.com. I think I own like stormspotter.com or something like that. So amazing weather. This one ends in an hour. 51 minutes left. Amazingweather.com. A phrase that I know all you chit chatters out there have said. Oh, what about this amazing weather? There you go. Add into my watch list. 51 minutes left. I'll be off the air by then. Glass Armor. Green Decorating. Crime League. What do you think? We find any good ones yet? Exactly, Lee. That's like, I get it. I get messages. I get messages nearly every week. That is, you're revealing all my domain names. And typically, I only spend my time up at the top of the list. So it's like this time, it's like, yeah, going to the bottom of the list. But I always appreciate the chat, Lee, even if it is to tell me that I'm messing you over. It's better than hearing this. Let's see here. We found, like, I like looking at the bottom of the domains more than the top ones. This is ultimately how you got to get started. If you're getting started in domaining, you don't, a lot of the ones that are 4 figures, 5 figures, 6-figure domain names, yes, they're worth it, but you also it has to make sense in your budget and your life to spend that money. Like, you can do the exact same thing, start small, develop the skills, develop everything you need to be able to sell cheap domains, and then move on up. Eventrides.com. I mean, carnivals, festivals, fairs, all that kind of stuff, event rides. I'm talking a lot about domains from the idea of selling them. You can develop these as well, right? Let's go back up to event rides, for example. Eventrides.com. So this ends in less than 1 day, $12 currently. So eventrides.com is we just have to let's go to the 3-minute business plan. Let's see if I have one around. I don't think I do. I took it with him. I'm actually working on it. So eventrides.com. The idea is, in fact, I actually used to volunteered for something called Arlington Heights Firefighters Community Service Organization. Basically, it was for firefighters, or we supported the volunteer fire department. And a lot of fire departments, especially the small volunteer ones, if they still exist out there, they put on little firemen's festivals. And when we did our firemen's festival, we had to book some rides. And finding a ride company that is not overly shady is actually a little bit on the difficult side. So here you go. The problem is there's lots of little organizations out there, lots of little festivals. They need rides, and they need a place to find quality companies to get those rides, as well as there's event ride companies. So places that, have all those rides that travel to festivals and things. Where do you find them currently? I'm sure there's websites out there, but why not eventrides.com? It makes sense. It has that authority, has the validation for what you're trying to do. You get it for cheap. Even if you buy it for a couple $100, you find a dozen ride companies nationwide, put them up on there for, a couple $100 a year or something, and voila, what would a couple $1,000 do for you? A couple extra $1,000 a year from a $20, $100 domain name. Hopefully, it would be a heck of a lot of fun, and you'd learn a lot, and you make a couple $1,000 extra bucks a year. If that's not of interest to you, then, geesh, I don't know. Probably shouldn't be watching Domain to Profit if that's the case, because we are here to find a little money. I'm not going to add that to my watch list, but if the idea of building out a directory for rides and things like that is of interest to you, let me add it to my watch list. I'll have to think about it. I don't want to lose it. I don't know if I'll bid on it or not. Maybe, hit me up in Twitter chat if you're going to bid on it, and I'm willing to bow out of that one. Otherwise, I probably will toss in a little bit on it. Getsponsors.com? What? I'm sure. Let's check this one out. Getsponsors.com, ending in about 2 days, $17. So this one does have a little bit of bidding on it already. Wouldn't be surprised if it does not get more bids. But Getsponsors.com, I know that nearly every little league team out there, and by little league, I'm not talking official little league. I'm talking, every kid's baseball team that's out there. A lot of times they have sponsors, and shouldn't every kid's baseball team, soccer team, whatever, have a sponsor? Well, maybe Get Sponsors is the tool that allows you to quickly interact with local companies that want to sponsor little kids teams and things like that, or big events. Got to put that advertising budget somewhere, and you put your event on getsponsors.com, and those sponsors decide if it's an event that's worth sponsoring for them, and voila, it's a matchmaking service. I got to add that one to the list, because that one, the more I talk about it, the more I'm actually like thinking that sounds pretty good. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Social media blast. I don't like it. Mostly, there's a lot of social media type domains, so I try to avoid them. Major Electronic, California, Texas. Maybe that's a real place. Don't know. Moving on to the next page. So as you probably are noticing, spending a lot of time here today looking through expired domains. We're just kind of keeping it simple and going back to our roots, looking through domains, talking about some businesses that can be placed on those domain names, as well as just kind of continuing what we did last week in a poorly filmed video. Basically, let's find some domain names, figure out a way to make money off it, whether it's selling that domain name or developing that domain name, which is exactly what we're doing. It's exactly how I've managed to spend millions on domain names and making millions. I don't say that I'm glad that I've had all the opportunities I've had. That's why I'm here to share, the things that I try to share with you. I'm very grateful for what I've been able to build, and there's no way I can do all this on my own. There's so much opportunity for you as well, which is why we're here. So feel free to ask questions if you, have some. Like especially if you see a domain name that you're like, oh, that's a good one. Why is he not talking about that one? I mean, heatdetector.com, boom, kind of an interesting thing. I'm sure there's different, what are the UV cameras and things? It's basically heat detectors. Okay. Chat be like, I just like that. I like that sound effect. I'm such a freaking kid. Running into a drought. Artisan Man from Volt. Winning Source. So on some of these, the question might be like, how do you know if it's good or if it's bad? Well, as you've seen, partly we go out to SpyFu.com. We will type the domain names, not the domain name. We type the keywords from the words that make up that domain name into here, see if other people are searching it, and then also look for these similar keywords. What are people searching for? That's some of the ways that we can remove the subjective nature of domain names. So by subjective, I mean, you may be looking at these domains and go, they're all brilliant, they're all amazing. There's a reason somebody registered these. These are all expiring domain names. So somebody registered them, somebody thought they were great, and now they're letting them go, whether they just forgot about them or whether they want them or not. My laptop is really hot. I'm guessing that has something to do with tech issues I was having earlier. Okay. Traffic expertise. Expertise is such a weird word, but it could be like a small, quick turn and flip type of domain. So one of the things that you can do with these is you can also you can use like NameBio. So back to NameBio, which they have a free service. You just got to look at some ads and stuff. But what you can do on NameBio is type in a keyword. So say, for example, what was that domain we were looking at? Sponsors. Let's see what other domains. Sponsors. Let's see what other domains with the name sponsors have sold in the past. Sponsor Shop has sold for $5,500. Mega Sponsors, $157. And you'll see that in most cases, these are auctions over here. So they sold at these prices at auction. So if by chance getsponsors.com slides under the radar and you get it for $80, $100, you can see that it's in line with a lot of these domains that have sold for $100 or more, and that's at auction. In most cases, the auctions are not the end users are not the people that participate in them. Developers sometimes find them. That's how I got into domaining. I needed a good domain and stumbled across domains from the idea of an auction. And well, I'm an end user that participates in auctions, but I'm a little bit of a freak. There's not as many of me out there as what I would like there to be. I want more domains developed. So this is a handy tool that can show you, similar domains that have been sold. So one of the things I will warn you about in this idea of looking at past sales is past does not reflect the future, right? Past results do not guarantee future success. And if you see something crazy, it's not crazy necessarily, but sponsorshipmanagementsoftware.com, somebody bought that for $300 in 2017. If that domain name was available again, do you think it would sell for that again? Probably not. Like that's way too long. There's better domain names out there. But you have to learn that. You have to discern that. And if it came again, bid $20. If you get it, great. Try to do something with it. Otherwise, let it go. Certainly don't think it's worth $300 again. That experience, you're gonna spend some money. A lot of people pay what, hundreds of thousands or $100,000 going to college, and they get out, they apply for jobs, and what do the employers tell them? Well, you don't have experience. Well, they paid $100,000 and they don't have experience. If you're starting out, you're starting with zero, and put some money into your experience. You're going to make mistakes. That's why people always say failure is okay. Okay, smart sponsorship, another one, $100. So needless to say, I'm guessing Get Sponsors is going to go for $100, $200. All here first. Wish there was a way to see what the alternative timeline would have been if we never mentioned it on this show. What would it have went for? The metaverse. Login asset. No. Binary world. What a good word. Binary word. Yeah. Solar panel cleaner. Let's check that out. Let's see if that solar panel cleaner. That sounds like a product that's actually going to be needed at some point. $780 searches. Solar panel cleaner jobs. So I guess this is a thing. People clean solar panels. So look at this. Cost per click around $5. People are paying to advertise for this. So what do you think? Solar panel tongue twister. Solarpanelcleaner.com. Whether you're selling a product for people to wash their own solar panels, or you're just listing and creating a directory of services that will come out and clean your solar panels, all of that can be put on such a perfectly created domain name exact match, solarpanelcleaner.com. And what is that one? Up. I'm selling a domain name, and it is not available. Somebody renewed it. they knew how good of a domain name it was, so they renewed it. Could have happened, though. Could have happened. Okay. Well, we'll go on to the next page and continue our search. Hopefully this is fun for those who are watching. I try to mix in the lessons, so I want you to kind of not only see the opportunities that are there. I can put these out in an email, though. I can put them just in a big list. What I really want to put out there into the world is, why do certain domains out of this entire list catch my eye? How do I verify that domain name's actually as good as what I might think it is? Using the tools, using SpyFu, using NameBio to see past sales related to a keyword. There's all kinds of different ways that we can approach domain names to try to make sure we're making a good decision. If you're in love with a domain name, and then it turns out that domain name is you type into these different things, everything's coming up 0, there's no interest, no related keywords at all, you got to be disciplined enough to lose interest in that domain name. Unless you're going to develop it, then you can, of course, do about anything. Let's see. I wonder where you see that. Was that on the list? Coding tools. Because if that was on, I am not seeing coding tools, but that's a good one. Huh. Oh, you're probably on top of the list. So I guess I should share it. So he's saying codingtools.com, which is on GoDaddy. I'm guessing that is up on the top of that list. So it's not showing up right now we are filtering. Our filters we're looking for the cheap stuff. We're looking for this stuff here. So no hyphens, no numbers, normal domain names, except for it needs to end the next 3 days and a price of $20 or less, which often we don't use such restrictive filters. We open it up. And coding tools, yes, great domain name. There's a lot of coding tools out there, a lot of custom ones and different things. Certainly that domain name is going to go for hundreds, if not low 4 figures, just because, well, let's check it out. We're going to type it into SpyFu. Only 720 searches for the domain name. And really not a lot of searches going on. Like, you don't see coding tools in these similar keywords over here. But people are paying about $1.50 approximately to target this keyword. So, I mean, certainly if you were to call somebody and say, hey, I'm Matt, and here you go. Matt is sharing. Thanks for sharing this out, Matt. I appreciate it. So Matt's, it's currently $200 over on GoDaddy, which you can find that out, which I can show you here in just 1 minute, how to find that domain name. We've never actually done that, so that's probably a helpful thing to do. Coding tools, if you called up a coder or a coder programmer or somebody that has, well, a coding tool, and be like, hey, I'm with Drew with codingtools.com. Are you interested in listing your product on our service? Maybe you do it as an affiliate link and you get 30, 50% whenever somebody buys or whatever else. Could be a good option for you. Who knows? Okay, so I'm going to go out to auctions.godaddy.com. So codingtools.com is a good domain name, certainly. So when you come into GoDaddy, I go out to auctions.godaddy.com, and they always add in UK or Canada. I don't know. It's good. It's what they do. So if you wanted to find a specific domain name, for example, codingtools.com, you can search it in, and you'll see here that that domain name pops up, and you also see it's an expiring auction. Let me scroll a little bit for you. That's an expiring auction, currently 201. You'll see that one has a lot of views, also has 30 bids. So there's action on that one. It ends on 9/3, and you can pull that up and kind of view that page that we see a lot of times. You can also find that in expireddomains.net. It's just because of our filters, it didn't show up. So certainly a pretty good domain name from the top of the list. And let me see, Matt's also mentioning PipeInspections is $22. So it's outside of our $20 fix thing, but PipeInspections, not as big of a fan of it. But again, if you're not a big fan of it, what do you need to do? Let's type it into our tool here. PipeInspections, piping. So there you go, pipe inspection camera. Ooh, pipe inspection camera. So there's some action on that. In most cases, inspection is singular. So you'll see that that is why we have such a low volume of exact searches over here. But there are some keywords related to it, certainly worth a little bit of money. It's worth a $20 bid or $50 bid to try it out. Let's actually take a, let's go over here. Let's remove this $20 restriction. We're going to move it out to 6 days. And let's see what this list looks like. Let's see what we have at the top. Matt has me wanting to check out the top of the list here. So a lot of times when we look on the, look out here, we start by ordering by this valuation. We want to see the most expensive valuations on top. That's one of the ways that I like to look at these domain names. And we have them over here. The funny thing is when I look at these, half the time they look as good as the domain names that we see on the bottom, except for, they're already hundreds of dollars. There could be different reasons for it. Someday maybe we'll talk about search engine optimization and the impact on domain names. I don't like to mess with it. So you see coding tools here, ForensicExpert.com. That's kind of fun. And there you go, Flooring Expert. FlooringExpert.com ends in 40 minutes. So that's a pretty good domain name. In fact, I think there's a sign. One of the things I like to do when I'm looking for a domain name is, or when I'm thinking about domain names, which I'm always thinking about domain names. What domains can I find? A lot of times when I'm driving, I've shared this here before, when I'm driving down the road and I see handwritten signs, stapled to posts or on the ground or whatever else, you ever see those cheap signs that people just like make and put out there? Yes, garage sale, yard sale, that happens all the time, but other ones happen as well. So there's one on my way home right now that is somebody that says carpet repair and flooring expert and things like that. So it actually goes in line with the domain name that Matt just mentioned here, which is flooringexpert.com. I think they literally on that sign say flooring expert. So they have this little hint, actually in that case it's printed. It's a printed sign, but that sign, it has a phone number on it. All too often, signs will have a phone number on it instead of a domain name. Well, if they can pick up flooringexpert.com for just a little bit, or if you purchase flooringexpert.com and you had seen that sign, you can call this person on the phone number they have on their sign and be like, hey, how about you put flooringexpert.com on your sign, and for $20 a month or whatever, we'll show you exclusively in the Cincinnati area. We don't do exclusive stuff on most of our domains, but you can absolutely do it. It'll make the sale a heck of a lot easier for you to do. It just means that you won't have as many customers. But if you buy a $20 domain name or a $200 domain name and you offer exclusivity and you start making $200 a month off a basic domain, basic domain name, basic profile type of thing, doesn't even need to be anything all that elaborate. With $200 a month, pay for your costs in the first couple months. After that, you have an extra what, $2,400 a year that you are making from a premium domain name developed in a simple way. That's realistically all we're trying to do. You may get rich off this stuff, but this is the grind, peeps. This is how it's done. Nice, simple, easy development. Learn the basic skills, put it out there. There's so many projects that we pass on that would make, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month. We pass on them because we need to concentrate on larger projects. But they're out there available for any motivated individual that will grab these domain names and develop them out. And anytime you're like, if you ever want to, mention to me on, like, I will stay out of an auction if I know you are going to get the domain name and develop it. Otherwise, I'm going to assume you're an investor and I'm going to buy the domain name. But feel free to reach out. I don't need all these domain names. I just want to make sure that at least if they're in my hands, I view them as going to be in the hands of somebody that hopes to get them developed at some point. My goal is not to hold on to them forever. My goal is to get them developed. You can also, I'll just mention this, you're welcome to look over our portfolio. Our portfolio is, let me see, what's the best way to, valleysolutions.com is where you can find our portfolio. If you see a good domain name that's not developed in our portfolio and you want to develop it out, I'm open to partnerships. And even, I'll mentor a little bit and help you do some things, but I'm not going to do the work. That's the key thing. We're already super overworked around here. So there you go. That's just kind of mentioning that out there. That's not something I try to post too terribly much out in the world, but I want domains developed, and that's why I do the show. And for all of you that watch, hey, if I can provide an opportunity for you, benefits me, and we both make some money, and a domain name gets developed. That's kind of the key that I'm talking about here, is getting more domains developed. What do we think? We're about an hour in because of the delay in doing things. Make sure you subscribe and like the video. I suck at that. Suck at telling you to do that, reminding you to do that. If you've not done it, please do. Like and subscribe. I need my daughter to, she does these fake streams when she's playing Minecraft. And one of the first things she watches YouTube videos, so she's always like, make sure you like and subscribe. Need to get her on here. She would be quick to do that. Look at this. Okay. Let me look at a couple more domain names real quick. Sellingservices.com. Certainly, let's see if it's sellingservices.com, $55, ends in 5 days. There are literally services out there that will do your phone sales for you and things like that. They charge super duper high rates and things, but so be it. They're a service that sells stuff for you. There you go. List them on sellingservices.com. Not a big fan of it. I don't like the domain name all that much, but it does describe something that makes sense for, putting out in the world. Safelasers.com. Don't want those on the heads of sharks. You need lasers that kill people on the heads of sharks. Anyhow. Okay. Well, I'm going to be wrapping up here. Camerabackpacks.com. That's a good one. I think I've searched for that one before. Let's go check it out here. We'll check that out. We'll see camerabackpacks.com. Make sure it's actually up for auction here. 1,400 searches that SpyFu.com estimates that you would be able to get that kind of volume if you ranked high in the search engines. Camera backpack, best camera backpack. This seems to be a really freaking good domain name, actually. Ends in 5 days, already $30, 207 views, so you can pretty much count on there being a lot of interest in this domain name. And yeah. Now this one also delivery ownership 20 days. It also says it has a transfer fee. I'm guessing that means it is not a GoDaddy domain name. So this is one of those domains that could disappear last minute. But hey, so be it. If you can get that for, I'm guessing that one's probably going to go closer to 4 figures. But if you can get it for a little bit of money, if you can get it cheap, then certainly worth messing with if you want to sell a physical product. I avoid physical products for the most part. So, I don't know. Okay. So how about that? You find any gold today? Did the search, the Easter egg hunt of domain names, did it yield anything for you? It did for me. I didn't know I don't pre-search these domain names. This is me looking at the domain names live with you, and I think we found a lot of good ones. In most cases, they were all the ones at the bottom of the list. We went to the bottom and searched for the deep ones and found some good domain names. There's plenty more out there. We've only looked at approximately 800 domain names out of I think when we filtered them down, it took it around, well, right now the filter that I have up on my screen that includes the higher price ones, that's around 71,000 domains. I'm guessing it was probably around 20,000 domains when we limited it down to the next couple of days and the cheap ones. So we looked at 800 domains. You can go through and find plenty of other opportunities. Just continue your search. Bid your $20 or $12 on lots of domains. You're going to lose on majority of them, but you're going to win on a couple of them. Just make sure that you're not letting too many stinkers in, and the result could be a new opportunity for you. What would your life look like? What would your life look like if you were able to essentially take domains, $20, turn them into $200 or more, multiple times a week? I mean, that's some pretty fun money. Just look through domain names in your spare time. I think that's how a lot of us get hooked on domains, is we do that, started in our spare time. Next thing you know, there's plenty of people that do this for a living. However, I want you to develop them. Develop these domains, not all of these domains, but find one that really connects with you, an interest, a topic that maybe you have experience in, that you think that you can talk to the people that will be your customers, and just be like, hey, you can apply that, what we've talked about frequently in the past. If I do this, will you? If I build a site on this domain, that would benefit your company, we'll list you there. Will you pay me $20 a month, $100 a month, or $100 a year, $200 a year, whatever it is? If I, will you? You just have to ask 100 potential people. Got to find one or two. I'm not sure if I ever mentioned, like, salespeople make like 100 calls just to get one yes. So you can't expect it to be easy. You can't expect one call to be a yes. They have to hear no 99 times in order to hear a yes, especially like on a cold call type basis. Got to do the work. And if you're not willing to do that work, then possibly don't get the domain names. Just leave them for others. So, I don't know. Well, I am Drew Wash, and I will be back here Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're a subscriber, you can certainly, you'll be notified if I go live impromptu throughout the week. Sometimes I find deals that are last minute or something I really want to share with my audience, share out with you, and I go live to share those out. So please make sure you have subscribed on YouTube, as well as to our newsletter over on domain2profit.com, where we notify you of the weekly show. Currently, it does not automatically notify you when I go live impromptu, but we'll figure something out on that. I do very much appreciate you being here. Thanks for all the comments and questions and things. It makes this show. I'm here to serve you, to do what I can to help you out. Subscribe, like, and I will see you next week. Take care.